What's up, dudes? Today we're doing a cut test with the infamous Spyderco Shaman. This particular Shaman was lent to me by a viewer named Neil. Really appreciate it, buddy. He's allowing me to carry it, use it, and then do a review on it, as well as the cut testing. So, really cool of you, man. I appreciate it. So this is not a factory edge. This is an edge put on by Neil himself. So keep that in mind. He did a really nice job. It's very sharp. And he also offers sharpening services. His Instagram handle is _Neil_Knight. Knight as in Shining Armor Knight. I'll put it down in the description too. So he's trying to get his sharpening business off the ground. So yeah, hit him up if you need some sharpening done. You can see I blazed through that paper really easily. This is a very sharp edge. I'm starting on the regular thickness cardboard. Piece of cake. Absolute piece of cake. You know, I was kind of surprised at how well this knife did. This is kind of advertised as like the heavy-duty Spyderco, thick, and it is. It's, the blade stock is thicker than any Spyderco I've handled. But I was surprised at how slicey it remained, despite having that thick blade stock. It's a big knife. It's a heavy knife. It's heavy duty. Double thickness cardboard. This is actually the same cardboard that I cut myself badly on with the Guardian 3. You can see the blood, and I decided to finish the job here. Destroy this piece of cardboard that was a factor in me cutting myself. So it's gone through this stuff no problem. As always, a little bit more pressure needed to get through the double thickness cardboard, but still not hanging up, going through super duper easy, easier than I thought it would. Not a problem. All right, let's move to the paper, see where we're at. Got a little hung up there, but yeah, we're still slicing. We're still slicing the papel. I don't know why I said that. Yeah, we still got some bite. This is S30V steel, by the way. Kind of Spyderco's stock steel that they use, or they used to use. I think maybe they switched to S45VN on some models now, but for a while it was S30V. It was kind of their go-to for the stock models. And the glove test. See how it does. First time, not a problem. Barely any sawing motion needed. And on the fourth one, just very slight sawing motion to get through it. You can see all the layers we're cutting through there. Did very well. Now the food prep test. Cutting this rubber tubing almost like a zucchini or some type of food you'd be cutting on a cutting board. I think this is a better food prep knife than some Spydercos, like the PM2. It kind of has a little bit more of a downward facing edge, but still not the best for food prep. If you're depending on how you're gripping it, your knuckle is going to hit the cutting board before you've really gotten through what you're trying to cut. But not bad, As with most knives, it'll work for food prep. All right, what do we got next? I think we are moving to... Okay, yeah. The strap and rope tests. These, I kind of expected it not to do as well. Just being that it's, thick blade stock. But it did surprisingly well, as you'll see. And I think that has to do with just the fact that it's it's a tall flat grind, full flat grind. It pretty aggressively gets down to a thin edge. And I think Neil probably laid the angle back a little bit. Lowered the angle so that it was a little bit of a wider edge bevel. That might have something to do with it as well. On the wide strap, we almost got all the way through it. And as I always say, this is more of a blade shape test rather than a sharpness test. Only certain blade shapes will get through this wide strap. Usually you slip out of the cut before the edge has a chance to cut all the way through it. And we are slipping out of the cut, but we almost are getting through. which is better than a lot of knives do. If you've been watching these cut test videos, you know that. The only knife that comes to mind that did very well with these tests, especially the strap tests, is the Vosteed Nightshade. Just that shilling cutter edge, man. It traps the material, it cuts all the way through. Now the polypropylene rope test. This is a very hard, tough, plasticky kind of rope. And it's a big deal for knives to get through this. Not a lot do. Bam! With ease. Not a problem for the Shaman at all. This thing just keeps impressing me, man. I'm really gonna have to get myself one. I do not own a Shaman yet. I think I'm gonna try to get one of the 15V ones if I can. Not counting on it though, but I need a Shaman, man. I really do. It's just such a good balance between heavy duty but slicey. You know, a lot of times with these, I'll talk about that in a minute. So this is kind of a new thing we're cutting on this test. This is like a very hard plastic strap that you'd see kind of like on pallets a lot of times. It's a hard plastic. I cut this off of the pallet using my Leatherman knife, and it had a hard time getting through it actually. But the Shaman here, not a problem. Pretty good amount of pressure needed to get through it, but yeah, it's cutting cleanly through it. So yeah, impressed. Really, really impressed. Ergonomically, man, this is one of the better Spydercos out there. You know, I've said the Manix 2 is one of the most ergonomic knives out there, especially one of the most ergonomic Spydercos, but I think this might beat it a little bit, just because it's a more roomy handle, I think, and you have that contouring going on. We're still slicing through paper after all those tests, which is a testament to Spyderco's heat treat of their S30V. You know, they're the kings of production knives, production knife heat treats. That's no doubt about it on that point. They are the kings. They do such a good job with their heat treatment. No matter what the blade steel, they have a huge variety of blade steels, and they just kill it every time. Let's do a little bit of stropping and see how quick we can get that nice super bitey edge back. So what I was saying, I think the Shaman here is a really, really good mix between a heavy-duty knife but also a very slicey knife. If you take the extreme heavy-duty knife, for example, like maybe a Hinderer or a Medford, they are very, very heavy-duty, but they're not always that slicey, you know? In fact, not very slicey at all. If say your job is breaking down cardboard, you don't want a Hinderer. You just don't. I think the Shaman here is a really, really good choice for just a heavy-duty work knife, because it can slice, you know, but it's really tough at the same time. Thick blade stock, it's thicker down towards the tip, so you don't gotta really worry about your tip breaking off within reason. I don't know, man. I think this might be one of the best heavy-duty work knives, I gotta say. So that was not very much stropping at all. Here's his Instagram, by the way. Neil's Instagram, if you need any sharpening done. And so yeah, with very minimal stropping, you can see that we are back to very sharp. Extremely sharp. Even able to do some curves in that slice there. Insanely sharp. So that's awesome, man. I really like S30V. A lot of people are kind of tired of it. It's been around for a while. It's been used a lot. But it really is a good blade steel. In my experience, it's always stropped back pretty easily. It holds an edge easily. It's pretty tough. So yeah, there you go. The Spyderco Shaman. Very impressive knife here. Again, thanks to Neil for letting me borrow it, and there will be a full review of the Shaman coming up soon on the channel. Thanks, guys. Please like the video before you bounce. I'll see you next time. Adios.